Don't rock, freak, don't stop, don't rock, freak, don't stop, don't rock, freak, don't stop. Who put them all in the Wednesday night? Who put them all in the Wednesday night? Who put that ball in the Wednesday night? Super Tyrese Campbell.
That was Shaun Needham, and this is the Sheffield United Hodcast. I'm Matt, and here is the Thomas Frank to my Ange Postecoglou. It's Johnny.
They're getting worse.
They're getting better, my intros. Much, much better. I thought you'd like that one. The Thomas Frank, that's you. Thomas Frank of the world. Very practical, aren't you, Johnny? And you like a nice, direct style.
I'm better than him.
You're better than him, obviously. You never had your opportunity, have you? So in tonight's Hodcast, what we're going to try and do is quickly go through the Millwall and Oxford games, and then we're going to talk in a little bit more depth about the Middlesbrough game. We'll quickly go over United's ins and some of the outs from the transfer window, and we'll preview the Portsmouth match, which is coming up this weekend. How does that sound to you, Johnny?
Yep, spot on.
So, United went to the Den after we've last podded, just before the closing of the transfer window. Place that's difficult to go. We all know that, and Millwall are doing really, really well this season, and this might finally be the year that Millwall get in the playoffs and threaten the Premier League with their presence. So it was a tough trip for us to go to. I think everyone was not overly optimistic about chances of success at Millwall. We got a very, very rare draw down at the Den. Is it all you want to say before I quickly skirt through the lineup and the action, Johnny?
No, it was probably what we expected. I think if we go on pod, I said that we'd draw. On one of the previous episodes, obviously, like I say, a difficult place to go. They're not going to get promoted. They're fourth or fifth in a poor league, let's be honest. In a very inconsistent league. I'll touch on who I think is going to make who's going to make playoffs at end episode tonight.
Okay. So United lined up with Cooper in goal, McCallum at left back, Bindon and McGuinness were the two centre halves because Tanganga was still suspended. Sariki started at right back. We had a midfield two pairing of Tom Davis and Sidney Peck. More on Tom Davis again. Then it was Harmer, O'Hare and Brooks behind Tom Cannon, who had to start up front on his own because Patrick Bamford had been sent off against Ipswich. Any thoughts on the lineup, Johnny, that we put out?
Lineup-wise, it was about the best we could do, wasn't it? It shows you where Tyrese Campbell is at the minute in the pecking order, doesn't it? That Cannon's started games and Campbell's nowhere near, really.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, it's probably fair getting this run, isn't it? You know, he didn't play bad at Millwall, showed some decent flashes against Oxford again. He's been the better one, hasn't he, behind Bamford? And I think if you were to go for a pairing at the minute, you would probably go Cannon and Bamford, wouldn't you, out of the forwards we've got available?
Yeah.
So that was how we lined up. United took the lead in the 17th minute. Andre Brooks, nice sweet strike into the bottom corner. Then we made a bit of a pig's ear of it again, and Ivanovic equalised very, very quickly on the 19th minute. I'm a big fan of Ivanovic. I know you're not. I think he's a real handful at this level. I think he's a good player, very busy. Mr. Bannon made his debut, didn't he, for Millwall in this, having finally left Wednesday. United had a few decent chances. I think it's probably fair to say we slightly edged it out of the two sides in terms of having better chances. O'Hare should have scored a header, shouldn't he, which was decent. He also had another chance from close range, which he should have scored. The big thing in the match, really, the big talking point for us was that Sam McCallum got seriously injured, didn't he? And he's out for 10 weeks as a result, which meant Harrison Burrows is back in the United side. The reason I spoke about this one too much is I didn't watch this one. I missed it. I was out and about, so I missed this match. Have I missed anything major from the Millwall match, do you think, Johnny? Like I said, anyone I've spoken to said we probably just about edged it, but can't complain that we came away with a point.
No, like you said, we probably edged it with better side first half, definitely. Had a couple of good chances second half, but then Millwall grew into it last 20 minutes, as you expect at home.
Yep.
The massive, obviously, McCallum picking up a knocks a big thing because it puts a low confidence player in the side, Burrows.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I want to touch on is Tom Davies. He has to be done now.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to hope that he's going to be fit for 2 or 3 games a season and put him inside and disrupt the flow at team. It just can't happen. Especially now we've got the new signings. I get we were short for that game, but to go off injured again, it's just ridiculous. And he's not going to be on peanuts, is he?
No, he's not. He's not going to be on a small wage.
So I think we need to look to offload.
Yeah, agreed. As I've always said, I like Tom Davies. If he was fitter, he wouldn't be playing for us. He'd be playing at a higher level, but the man cannot stay fit no matter what he does. And it was interesting because friend of the pod, David Bailey, messaged me just to say that he can't believe that out of all the hundreds of thousands of central midfielders we've got, hardly any are fit and available to last a good 90 minutes at the minute, which is a tad disconcerting, isn't it, given the numbers that we've signed. Who were your... I'm not going to put you on the spot, Johnny, and make you do player ratings for the Millwall match because I think everyone's slept since. Who were your standout performers? Did anyone have a particularly bad game for you, for us?
I don't think anybody was particularly bad now on the day. You couldn't pick a bad player. It was probably a decent championship game, you'd say. In terms of good players, I'm going to single out Hamer and Brooks on the day.
Yep.
I thought they both played really well. Brooks in particular, obviously carried on. He scored, carried on that spree after that Ipswich goal as well, and he's just grown in TMT this season.
Yeah. He's getting more and more consistent, isn't he, Brooks? And as you know, we keep saying, as a pair down that right-hand side, him and Sariki must be terrifying to play against with the pressing and the harrying and the chasing. But he's finding that consistency and he's got a little bit more discipline, hasn't he, in his performance, which he's not always had.
It's just the disappointing thing for me is from the game is the goal that we conceded as well.
Yeah.
And it highlights defensively that McGuinness should be going and attacking the ball.
Yeah.
It was a long pump into the box. We don't win the first header. Peck loses his man, he runs off him and Ivanovic scores. I mean, that goal has happened to us 3 or 4 times that I can think of this season. Charlton at home, last minute. Preston away, big diagonal into the box. So just go and win the first header.
Yeah, agreed. It's a strange one, isn't it? You know, because we've looked better at the back. However, I still think there's some problems there. I don't think anything's solved yet. We're going to talk Tyler Bindon probably after the Middlesbrough game because I do think Bindon's change and transformation into a very good footballer has been really impressive. But it's still not solid at the back, is it? You still don't have that 100% confidence, and I think there's also Cooper to talk about, which we will a little bit more as well after the Middlesbrough analysis. Is there anything else you want to say on that well-earned point at the Den then, Johnny, or should we move on and talk the dismantling of Oxford?
No, let's go to Oxford game.
So off the back of that then, McCallum obviously had got himself injured, so he was out. We had Oxford at home. It was the rearranged game, wasn't it, from what should have been just after New Year, but was off for the frozen pitch when everything was horrendously cold. So we lined up with Cooper in goal, Sariki at right back, Tanganga came back from suspension, Bindon was the other centre half, Burrows started at left back. We started with Arblaster and Peck in midfield. Brooks, O'Hare and Hamer were behind Mr. Cannon again. Any thoughts on that as a lineup, Johnny?
No, we were about the best we could put out on the night, weren't it? Obviously, we were waiting for the reinforcements to come in. They'd signed at this point, Rothwell and Phillips, but they couldn't play. Were too late.
Yep.
We beat a poor side, didn't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing, and we kind of said this about Portsmouth, didn't we? When we beat them, you can only beat what's in front of you. I thought Oxford were terrible. I thought Oxford attacked twice and scored once out of the two attacks all night. United went behind in this one on the 14th minute. Perts Harris scored. It was, it's just an horrendous mistake, isn't it, from Cooper? Absolutely awful mistake. Shot from distance, and he did something which I didn't think Mike Cooper would actually ever do. Parried the ball straight out, didn't he, after dropping it, and they smashed it into the top corner. I mean, as a member of the Goalkeepers Union, I don't think even you can defend that one, can you, Johnny?
No, poor, really poor. And it underlines an issue that we'll touch on for the Middlesbrough game as well, that he's not... We've mentioned it a lot this season, he's not the same keeper, is he? No,
and it's strange with Cooper, because I said to Shaun, because Shaun went to match with us, didn't he? I just said, he's still not a bad goalkeeper. He's still one of the better ones in the league, but we just don't have that confidence in him that we had last season. So he made an absolute howler. We went 1-0 down. Oxford then just started wasting time from about 14 minutes and 30 seconds. So the minute they'd scored, they just kept wasting time, didn't they, continually? Thankfully, after the 40th minute, Peck scored on the 41st. A decent cutback from Burrows, wasn't it? Dummied by Arblaster. Peck found the bottom corner, which was really neat. Hamer hit the bar with what would have been an absolutely cracking effort. Oxford's keeper made a couple of saves. We went in 1-1 at half-time. Second half, we took Arblaster off. Samari came back on, which surprised me. I didn't think he'd get anywhere near. Campbell came on. Then I think something which is actually overlooked, Tom Cannon made a really, really good assist for Brooks, didn't he, putting it across. And it was something that, it was one of those balls that last season Tyrese Campbell would have raced onto. He's nowhere near it. Instead, it's Tom Cannon doing it. Puts it across, and Brooks scores a really good finish with a lot of power, doesn't it, from the middle of the box, and that goes into the top corner after the keeper tries to parry it. And then, surprise of the night, Gus Hamer plays an absolutely cracking ball. That's not the shock. But who was on the end of it? Ogbenny, who we had all been moaning about because he'd come on and played how Ogbenny has been doing, just losing the ball, it going out of play, overrunning it, doing nothing of note. But then he scores a really, really good finish, didn't he? Getting on the end of that one and ghosting him behind the back line and passing that one into the net. It was a really good goal. And then there was still time as well for Leo Hjelde, who's joined us on loan from Sunderland to make his debut. One of those nights, really, wasn't it, the Oxford one? Again, where you beat what's in front of you. United played some good stuff at times as well, to be fair. But we never really got out of second gear, did we, in this one? I think if we hadn't been 1-0 down and it hadn't been so cold, we'd have probably ran away with this one normally, wouldn't we, without even breaking a sweat. thoughts on the Oxford match, Johnny, and any standout performers or any villains on our side?
Obviously, you got to single out Cooper for the mistake. Oxford wouldn't have scored if they were playing well now.
No.
That night, if it weren't for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I thought Peck played really well.
Yeah, he did. He had a very good game.
Obviously, gets another goal. Hamer played well again. He could have had a couple of goals in the first half with a couple of brilliant efforts, couldn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And then obviously Brooks again. I mean, if you notice on that second goal that we scored on night, Brooks was actually injured.
Yeah, he was wobbling, weren't he?
And he managed to limp his way around the box, stay on his feet after he did get took out a little bit and smash it into the top corner. I mean, they're down Oxford. They're absolutely terrible, but yeah, you can only beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, you can. And it was another game at home and another 3 goals scored for us. Chris wrote a great piece about it for Den Blades. 3 goals again, ole ole, which is well worth a read if you've not read it already. So, yeah, I thought Oxford match was straightforward, wasn't it? Straightforward win for us. And we look to be marching on. Oh, else you want to add on the Oxford game, or should we just get stuck into the Middlesbrough one, which, to say we lost, is a little bit more interesting than the last two, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go for that. Middlesbrough.
So, Middlesbrough, Monday night. Big game this. Middlesbrough are flying, aren't they? They're doing really, really well. I know you were annoyed with a lot of the build-up on Sky, weren't you? Because it was all Middlesbrough, and you would have thought they were the home side and that we weren't even playing in the build-up to this one. But it was billed as a big game, and to be honest, I think it kind of lived up to it. It was a good match, wasn't it? It really was.
Yeah.
United.
I mean, I were annoyed because we sat in the casino before the game, aren't we? Till 7:30, and it'd been on from 7:00, and they're not shown one United highlight.
No.
Middlesbrough interviews, and as we left, it was still Middlesbrough. So
yeah, it were.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big hype around Hellberg, isn't there? The Swedish manager at Middlesbrough, and as I pointed out to you, because I'm better at maths, he's averaging over 2 points a game since he's taken over, so that they are on a decent run. And obviously, when they beat us Monday night, they went top of the league. So United lined up with Cooper in goal, Burrows at left back, Binden and Tanganga to centre half, Sariki at right back. We kept the same midfield of Peck and Arblaster. Brooks right wing, O'Hare behind Patrick Bamford, who returned, and Gus Harmer on the left. Referee was Mr. Gavin Ward, who we'll talk about briefly a little bit later on. I think it is safe to say, full disclosure, Middlesbrough are the best side I have seen this season. Bar none. I haven't seen a side anywhere near as good as them this season. Have you?
No. And I really likened the game to... So this shows the levels we're at compared to last season. I likened the game to the Sunderland at home game last year.
Yep.
Probably one of the best games in the Championship last year.
Mm-hmm.
It had everything: red cards, penalties, end-to-end football.
Yeah.
And Sunderland played really good football in that first half against us, if you remember.
Yeah, and it was fast-paced, wasn't it? Like a basketball match.
Yeah. And I likened it to that, but that's where the consistency was there last year. And we found a way to win tight games.
Yep.
Whereas this year, I do think if to beat Middlesbrough, we had to score first, which we were saying all along, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
And maybe not concede that daft goal right on half time.
Yeah. The opening 15 minutes of this match was probably the best 15 minutes of Championship football I've seen this season. Because it was so end-to-end, wasn't it? And it was quality chances for both sides, back and forth. I mean, as much as we're saying, United should have scored the big chances we had, the lad on the right wing for them, who was a very, very, very good player, Whittaker, I think he could have scored twice, really. There were 2 poor efforts, weren't there, from him, which he put straight at Cooper. and he should have done better. Their keeper made a blinding save from Hamer as well in that, and they put a few blocks in. They cleared 2 off the line, didn't they? It was just really good end-to-end stuff and a cracking opening to the match. United went behind on the 19th minute. Conway, who I know you're not a fan of, but I was really impressed with Monday night. I thought his movement was excellent all night. So he basically ran across the full pitch, didn't he? So he started in Siriki's position and then just went across everyone, got onto a really good through ball. It was really fast-paced football as well, wasn't it, from Middlesbrough? It's one touch, rolled him through, and then he shoots through Tanganga's legs, who's sliding in. And Cooper doesn't get a big touch on it, and it ends up rolling into the bottom corner. It's a good goal across Cooper. But when you think of the chance that Hamer had, their keeper saved it. Cooper didn't for us. He's not expected to make that save, but their keeper did.
No, Hamer's was hit harder.
Yeah.
But it's probably slightly a more comfortable height, weren't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. It really was. So that was that. And United didn't get too downhearted, did they? I thought the crowd were good as well first half. They weren't on people's backs. And then the second goal, I don't think is good from our point of view really at all. So we'd had some half chances to get back into it. Siriki and Brooks, when they were on it, looked terrifying again down that side. And I thought Burrows and Hamer started well, but then kind of lost their way, didn't they, through the first half once Middlesbrough started piling everything down that side, our left-hand side, their right. They kind of lost their way a little bit. And Middlesbrough scored again just before half-time. And it was a messy goal, wasn't it? Cooper does an awful clearance into midfield, which was very much a pattern for the night. Cooper's distribution was, I think, it's just safe to say it was poor, wasn't it? It really wasn't good. His distribution was all over the place. Poor clearance. Arblaster gets totally done for pace in the middle. I mean, we were saying after half an hour he looked gassed. I was amazed he stayed on as long as he did. And Wilder said he was ill, didn't he, at the end? And that's why he'd had to come off, to be honest. He just weren't fit enough to compete with that midfield two of theirs.
I think the illness thing's sort of giving him an out.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He's putting his hand up to play, but
yeah.
I think we need to take sentiment out of it now and play the players who are fitter and more experienced for this. What situation we're in.
Yeah, there's a bit. I mean, we'll talk. We'll talk fan reaction at the end. Actually, 'cause we'll save it and we'll just go through the rest of it. Go on.
Just touching on first half. Obviously, we're going 2-0 down.
Yeah,
and we're going 2-0 down based on obviously them taking the big moments.
Yeah,
and their midfield three of Morris, Hackney, and McGree being far superior to Peck, Arblaster, and O'Hare on the night.
Yeah, they were.
And I said to you, you could take all three of them off because they were just running rings around them. They were playing in triangles, playing in tight spaces and pockets, and just playing through any type of press we had. So when they were moving the ball that quick and playing through the press, O'Hare had one of his worst games because he becomes ineffective in what he can do.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder whether they'd been better starting Rothwell in there with two others, as in Peck and Arblaster, just to give them some extra legs, or Phillips in there.
I think, I mean, the Rothwell point's interesting because obviously we'll come on to Rothwell, who's made himself a bit of a villain and a bit of a fall guy for this defeat. Because, spoiler alert, he gets himself sent off on his debut after only touching the ball about 7 or 8 times. I just think Rothwell doesn't have that pace. So unless you're going to sit Rothwell as a bit of an anchor and play that quarterback role like Norwood used to do and let the other two lads do the running for him, we're going to look a bit turgid in midfield with those players of theirs running about like they were. I think you're right about O'Hare. The problem with O'Hare was O'Hare got out O'Hare in terms of pressing, and he looked lonely. And I think nothing against Sidney Peck. I have a lot of time for Sidney Peck, and I know he divides opinions sometimes with the fans because people say he's a Wilder favourite and blah, 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 and everyone's very polarised in their viewpoints on these kind of things. But Peck just had a bad night. Just things didn't click for him, did it? His touch was off. His passing was off. They were faster than him to a lot of things. He just didn't have a good game. It happens. Peck just didn't have a very good game. And Arblaster, as we said, just was not fit enough to play in this match at all. You know, I think I've said it on every pod since Arblaster's come back. He should just be starting coming on in games for me now. He shouldn't be in a position where he's starting matches consistently because he's not fit enough to do it. You know, and I said we'd save it to end, but I'll say it now. You know, there's a bit of a head loss around Arblaster. I've seen online people saying he needs to go back to Port Vale. It's just ridiculous. He doesn't need to go back to Port Vale. He's not lost his ability as a footballer. He's just not fit enough for the pace yet. That's the issue. You know, he can't be charging around after McGree and Hackney, who were two of the best midfielders in this division. So we went in 2-0 down, didn't we, at half time? We came back out. Again, I did think the atmosphere was decent Monday night. Kind of got helped by Mr. Ward being incredibly inconsistent throughout the game. It gave the fans something to get angry about. We brought on Rothwell, we brought on Campbell, and we brought on Phillips for the three that you said, Arblaster, O'Hare and Peck, and you said to me all three need to come off, and they did. I think Wilder's mistake was he brought Rothwell on first. He should have brought Phillips on first, given how the game was going, because Phillips can run more than Rothwell can. He's faster. United get back into it. We score a really good goal from Patrick Bamford. Super pass from Gus Hamer. Very clever play from Phillips. He wins a foul, takes a quick free kick, gets it to Hamer. Hamer plays this delightful through ball, and Bamford smashes one in. We had a few half chances. We were really, really on top. I said to Russ that if we score again here and pull level, we'll win this, because Middlesbrough were absolutely shaken, weren't they? They couldn't cope with us for about 15 minutes in that second half. They couldn't get near us. And then Rothwell, it's a stupid tackle. He doesn't need to make it at that. He could have just ran up and kicked him and just legged him up. It'd have been easier and got a yellow card, but he dives in recklessly. The ref said he was high. He wasn't high. It was the pace of it. It wasn't a good challenge. And he gets a straight red card, which meant we had to bring Helder on. Went to a back three. And to be honest, I thought even with 10 men, United made a real fist of it against a very good side, didn't they? This for me, this was a good game of football. And if you weren't a Sheffield United fan and you weren't frustrated with Rothwell, some of our decision-making and the referee's performance, it would have just been a really enjoyable watch. So I think the neutrals got a good one out of this, because it was a decent match. Go on then, what do you want to say? And then you can go into your player ratings.
I think it highlighted how hard, obviously, Middlesbrough worked retrieving possession, and they were gassed late on, weren't they?
Absolutely.
Sitting back and just happy to soak it up, and we were up to us to break them down, and we didn't quite get there. But yeah, I just touching on. I'll go on. Let's do my player ratings first, and then I'll tell you.
Yeah, go on. We'll do your player ratings, then we'll talk fallout and feedback and bits and bobs after, shall we? So, Go on and start with Cooper.
So, I thought it'd gone back to how he was earlier in the season. Distribution was poor. He's waiting with the ball at his feet too long. He always looks like he's going to give possession away. Doesn't cover himself in glory, perhaps with a second goal. It's a slow effort that bounces and hits the post.
Yep.
If he gets a touch on that, just push it wide. Just didn't fill me full of confidence. I'm going to give him a 4 on the night. I didn't think he was great at all. Sariki, I'm going to give a 6-2. he had one of his quieter games, Sariki. We didn't utilise the right hand side as much, did we? As normal.
No,
And
no.
it was a lot quieter going forward. Defensively, it was okay. We're giving him a 6. Tanganga, again, give him a 6. He didn't have much to do really defensively, did he? He
No.
was okay. Obviously, I prefer him and Binden as a pairing. We've touched on previous episodes. Binden, I'm going to give a 7 to. I thought it was decent, made a couple of decent blocks. He's quite good with his feet, isn't he, Binden?
Yeah, really good.
For his size, and
Yeah.
he seems to read the game all right. So hopefully, one for the future if we do get a bid in. Burrows, I'm going to give a 6 because first 15 minutes he looked great going forward. He looked back to the Burrows of last year. However, he left a lot of gaps for Whittaker, didn't he, in that first half, who should have got 2 goals, as we said. So let's give Burrows a 6. Peck, a 6 again. They seem quite harsh ratings, really, to say that we played okay.
I think 6 is generous for Peck. I think he's probably a 5 for me.
I'm going to give him a 6 because it was a good game of football.
Yeah.
And it was probably the pick of the 3 midfielders, Peg.
Do you think? I don't know. I thought Aware was actually better. It's just it didn't come off for Aware.
So giving Peck a 6, worked hard in there. They just got outsmarted by 3 better players. Blaster, I'm going to give a 4. I just couldn't. He didn't get in the game. He didn't affect the game. His energy levels weren't there. If he's ill, he's ill. Fair enough. It is an excuse, but we can't persist with playing him now. Now we've got reinforcements in there.
No, agreed.
I even said to you, I'd rather start Samari.
Yeah.
Because at least he's going to be physical and aggressive in there, rather than just being bypassed.
Well, I mean, just to very quickly interrupt your play ratings before you crack on with it, I've seen different opinions on Arblaster. Like I said, I've seen the absolute ridiculousness of go back to Port Vale, you're rubbish, to give him time. Someone interestingly did say, which got my attention, just play Arblaster back into fitness. However, while I get the logic of that, you and I were talking, weren't we, this morning on way to work, about how your worry is, he's going to get even more injured again as a result because he ends up knackering himself up because he's playing too much too soon after a serious injury. Or, as you said, his confidence just gets completely eroded and then that takes longer to make the recovery. So I am of the opinion if we've got players that are fit, play the players that are fit now and let him take it steady. There's no point getting him hurt when we've got a season next year to play.
Yeah, you know yourself, if you're a yard off the pace, that can be the difference in missed time in a challenge as well and injuring yourself, can't it?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, he got shrugged off the ball by Hackney for Middlesbrough's second goal because he just looked non-existent in there, which is a shame because I really do rate Arblaster. So, Brooks, I'm going to give a 7. I thought he was positive.
Yep.
Carried the ball well, travelled the ball well. Got absolutely wiped out in that first half, which was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Ref and linesmen looked at each other, didn't give us a foul, gave them a goal kick, set the tone for the night. Next thing, one at Middlesbrough player goes down after being breathed on, gets a foul. Referee was terrible. Aimer, I'm going to give a 7 to. A lot of the good things that happened on the night came through him. Ball over the top for Bamford. In the first half when Bamford should score, ball in behind for Bamford for the goal. His effort, his work rate that first 20 minutes when we were looking good. Aimer was back to playing really well. Aware, I'm going to give a 5 to. Smack in the middle of Peck and Arblaster's ratings. Just didn't come off for him on the night. And like you said, he got out O'Haired. And because they played through the press, it took Aware out of the game.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, okay.
Bamford, I'm going to give a 7 to. I thought he was good again.
Yep.
Should score in the first half with that chance. Should score in the second half when it flashed across goal. Just slide in, tap it in.
Yep.
Took his goal really well. The thing that annoyed me on the night with United was I kept saying to you, let's go long for 5.
Yeah.
Get some pressure off. Bamford go and play off Ayling. He beat him all night in the air. Ayling had a really good game, by the way, when it was to his feet.
Yeah, he did.
I was surprised. Ayling was probably their best player.
Yeah, he did.
Was really good on that.
Well, other than those two in midfield.
The 3 in the middle, but he was really good. But, yeah, subs-wise, Rothwell obviously gets a generous 2 based on his red card.
Yeah.
I get the frustrations of not playing much football, wanting to come in and press, put in a challenge like Jack Robinson last season, slows up to win ball, crowd gets on feet instant. I get it, I get all the hype about it, but poor tackle and it just killed the game, took sting out of the game.
He does.
Campbell, don't know why he didn't bring Cannon on instead.
Yep.
Campbell offered very little when he came on. Phillips, I'm going to give him a 7. 40 played well when he came on, and it's exciting. I was excited about the signing. However, just playing devil's advocate with everyone saying that he was outstanding and changed game. I don't feel he changed the game. I feel he came on at the right time in the game where McGree had gone off for them.
Yep.
Middlesbrough's energy levels had dropped, and they were allowing Phillips to get on the ball a bit more, weren't they? They weren't pressing as much, and we were able to pass, and he was sitting a bit deeper and picking out the passes. Plays the ball in Tamer's feet for goal, and Tamer picks out a good pass. So, yeah, I'm excited, and it's at the point now where he needs to be starting on Saturday, doesn't he, Phillips?
Yeah, I mean, I think the comparison for me with Phillips' appearance, yes, as you say, it's the timing of the game and blah, blah, blah. But it was like when Riedewald came on that day against, was it QPR?
Watford. Now, what I will say is, if there was fit the other night, the dream 3 would have been, you wouldn't play O'Hare, you play Bamford, you'd play the 2 wingers in Amer and Brooks, and then you'd play Phillips, Riedewald and Peck.
Well, Bankett in midfield.
Who would have negated their midfielders, in my opinion, but obviously we couldn't do that because of injuries and whatnot.
Yeah. Interesting point, that one. Interesting point. See, I'd have liked to have gone a 4-4-2, and I'd have had Peck and Phillips personally with Cannon and Bamford up front, just to make them think a little bit more, because it would have forced their midfield to sit a little bit deeper and maybe not press out as much as what they once were. I mean, the other point for me, obviously, as I said, we could have started a 4-4-2. I just think Wilder got the subs in the wrong order. As much as, like, you were right to say those 3 needed to come off, it should have been Phillips first for me to get on. Then it should have been Rothwell, and then get someone like Cannon on. Ideally, I would have started with Phillips because of Arblaster not being fit. But that's where we are. What else you want to say about the Middlesbrough match, Johnny, or the bit of a strange head loss that we seem to have had after the defeat?
No, just how bad were ref?
Yeah, Mr. Ward.
He's not directly affected the result, but I said to you, I shown you stats on 75th minute or something. United, Middlesbrough had done 3 fouls. Middlesbrough, 3 in 75 minutes. We'd done 18.
Yeah.
What's that?
He was poor. Yeah, he was poor. I said to Russ again that I don't think he was cheating for Middlesbrough. I just think he was crap. He just wasn't very good. He was really...
He wants to make it all about his Sam.
Yeah, he did. He's another one, and we seem to have had a bit of a spate to this recently. Referees wanting to make the match a bit more about themselves. And I hate talking about referees. But yeah, he really didn't have a good game. I mean, the foul on Brooks in the first half was just beyond ridiculous. But that was that. So we had to endure a poor performance from Mr. Ward. and unfortunately we were defeated. So let's talk transfer window briefly, Johnny. So we brought in Phillips, which I didn't believe you on deadline day that he was coming. Rothwell, which was the worst kept secret in Sheffield. He signs on an 18-month deal. And we also brought in Leo Hjelde, and that was to supplement Kai Jana Hove that we signed earlier in the window. Ryan One went out to Lincoln, didn't he? Louis Marsh has gone up to Falkirk. Unkachekwu and Ukaki have both gone out on loan. And what did Ukaki do for Mr. Starbuck?
He allegedly scored.
Scored on his debut. Thank you.
Tromis or something. But at least Mr. Starbuck did point out to you that who was marking him.
Oh, you seen LaRucci?
There you go. Player. Game over.
What a player. The man who threw away that point against Manchester City that time. What a man. Yes. But yeah, I stand by that. Ukaki's the only one of the AI lads that looked anything like a footballer. He had that cameoed into it at Birmingham away.
Yeah,
so transfer window's complete. We signed those players. What do you think?
Yeah, if you just told us at the start of winning that we'd be signing Calvin Phillips in it, people wouldn't have believed it. I mean, you didn't believe me when I told you at, I think about 11 o'clock in the morning. I said, if Phillips has come in, you're like, no way. But yeah, it's a good signing. I think it's a good fit for both. We seem to have a good relationship with City.
Yeah.
And yeah, Rothwell's a decent signing. Shame he's suspended for 3 games. Hjelde is a signing for to cover McCallum injury.
Yeah, and he's got a good throw-in.
And Herver is a cover for Sariki.
Yeah.
I would possibly have liked a striker because Danny Ings obviously is not planned to feature. So I would have liked another striker. I think we went for a couple of players, didn't we? But we can't have everything, and yeah, but we didn't sell people like we have done in the past.
No. I wouldn't be surprised, I said to you, if Hamer signs a new contract between now and end of season. I wouldn't be shocked.
Don't know.
No, I mean, Johnny's still out, but I wouldn't be shocked. I think the best word to describe that transfer window is sensible. It was sensible from United. It wasn't too big of a punt on anything ridiculous. We didn't throw loads of money at it. We also didn't completely give up. So I think it was just sensible. And listening to the pinch, that they said about Calvin Phillips, really, it's kind of win-win because we get a decent player with a lot of pedigree who is out of contract in the summer. You never know. Might be interested in a permanent deal if United could possibly negotiate something regarding wages, etc. Or he plays out his skin to put himself in shop window to get a decent Premier League move at the end of the season. So I think it could be win-win for both there if he comes in and does well. Rothwell, I think, is a good player despite what happened the other night. I think he'll just take a bit of time, wanted to get up to match fitness. And as you said, the other two are solid squad additions. And Hjelde can play either left back, can't he, or centre half, which hopefully means we don't have to play Mark McGuinness. So that kind of protects us from that. We were talking again, though, weren't we, about Tyler Bindon and how much we would like United to actually go out and make an offer for him to try and get him permanently, because I think he's a lot better player than people give him credit for, don't you? To sign a player of his calibre, if we could in the summer for money, would be a big statement, I feel, at this level.
Yeah, and I'll hold my hands up. We all did. I think, it was part of the sellers sort of wrung him out to dry with how he played his style, didn't he?
Did.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So, transfer window shut. We've lost to Middlesbrough. You said you were going to tell us who you think gets in the playoffs before we preview the Portsmouth match.
Yeah, so obviously, from what we saw the other night, Middlesbrough should go on and win league, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Play like that, they'll win league. Ipswich second. Cov third.
Yep.
I'm going to tip Southampton to get in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, won 4-3, didn't they? Last night, 3-0 down.
That's my top four. I've been saying that for a few months. They've been my top four.
Yep.
And Millwall, Hull, maybe.
Millwall and Hull.
Yeah, we're too far behind them, aren't we? Let's be honest. To have any sort of hope, we had to win the other night, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you kind of feel like every time we win a match, yes, we're back on and we're hunting down the playoffs. And then if we don't win, season's kind of over. And I think it's just down to the number of teams that are above us and the number of games, isn't it?
Rather than the points.
Yeah, it's too big of a... It's not the points gap, it's just the sheer volume, isn't it? Volume
Very
of teams.
similar to when we went on that run under Clough from bottom at table to finishing seventh. It was the number of teams. It weren't the points. It was the teams that we just can't
get past that many, can you?
You can't outpoint that many teams.
No, it's hard. It's really hard to do. And I know until the defeat to Middlesbrough, we were top of the form table, but it's just hard.
The thing is, you've got 4 games coming up now. Portsmouth away, winnable.
Yep.
Obviously, them lot at home.
Yep.
Should be an absolute banker.
Yep.
Then you've got Coventry at home, I fancy us against.
Yep.
QPR away, winnable.
Mm.
And then you're going into West Brom at home. You've got to pick up minimum of 12 points from next 5, sorry.
Yeah, agreed. We just can't afford to lose games because of the position we're in.
Yeah.
I think there's no danger of going down now. Obviously, Leicester's had the points deduction and everything like that. There's nothing to worry about there. It's just, as you say, you don't want the season to go out in a damp squib, do you? You kind of want to have a bit of a run at it. So we move on to Portsmouth Saturday. I'm having Slipper Saturday with Mr. Wilkes, and we'll be watching it here. Followed by the Calcutta Cup because England play Scotland at the Rugger straight after. What's your prediction, Johnny?
I'm going to go for a steady 2-0 win on Saturday.
I think we'll win 3. I think Portsmouth are horrendous. I know Fratton Park, nice atmosphere. They're always up for it there, but I just think we're a lot better than them. And I think we'll be fired up from the other night because I think we'll feel a little bit hard done to. Wilder was very interested in his post-match, saying that we weren't fully at it, which I thought was an interesting take on that one. I think that's to kind of just wind everyone up a little bit and get them fired up for the next few. But yeah, I could see us absolutely demolishing Portsmouth on Saturday. Plans for us, we're going to do a preview, aren't we, before the Wednesday match? So we spoke to friend of the pod, Mr. Sawyer, who is a Wednesday fan, and he has agreed to come on. So I know he'll be listening. So we're holding you to this one. So he has agreed to come on. So we're going to try and do that as a bit of a preview before that match, aren't we? And me and you will probably briefly reflect on what was hopefully an easy victory away at Portsmouth. You got anything else you want to add, Johnny, before we hand over to Mr. Needham to play us out?
No, I'll just keep the faith.
Yeah. Keep the faith. You're absolutely right. So I've been Matt. You've been Johnny. Round us over to Shaun to play us out, and there's nothing else to say but up the blades.
Up the blades.
Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put that ball in the Wednesday net? Super Tyrese Cat.